Hello and welcome to another Thursday Live. And the topic for today is one that you voted for again, and it is betrayal blindness. So why our brains protect us from seeing betrayal. After we finally see the betrayal that is being done to us in an abusive relationship, we often blame ourselves for why did we not see it before? But there is actually several mechanisms that keeps us from seeing what is going on. And one of them is, or one of the major ones is our brain trying to protect us from the extreme pain and grief and turning our world upside down if we would see the betrayals. But we will talk about this in detail, what is going on, why does this happen, betrayal blindness, because it is actually a term, betrayal blindness, a very human phenomenon that we don't want to, or we are blind to betrayals in many cases. So we will go through 7 reasons for why this happens. And first, a little introduction. In an abusive or narcissistic relationship, there are a lot of betrayals. The whole basis of the relationship is often filled with lies. The person is putting on an act to charm us and lure us in and to keep us in the relationship. Hi, Havajawa, welcome. You're the first one to join. Okay, and I think that the other ladies will be joining eventually. That is usually what happens. So it starts out a bit slow, but then people will tune in. Okay, so the abusive relationship, on surface, it looks like a normal marriage or a normal friendship or normal family relations. And but as I said, under the surface, under the veneer, there is a lot of betrayals going on. And we will sometimes see signs of things not being as they would appear to be. Sometimes those signs are small signs, so we might get a little hint. Sometimes we call these hints red flags. And often, if we have not woken up to abuse and the existence or how common these dynamics are, then we are not aware of red flags. And even though we might feel that was odd, or why did he do that? Like that was not normal, but then we brush it off because that's like outside of our frame, like how we interpret reality. That's not really part of it. So we don't understand what we're seeing until after we get out of the relationship, when we can start to like trace it. Oh, I did see some red flags, but I didn't understand them. So sometimes we will see small glimpses of what is going on underneath the surface of the relationship. And sometimes they will be blatantly obvious. We see signs of cheating, for example, where or we find out something that is really disturbing about the partner. But even when we get these blunt wake ups, yes, we will be pained, but in many cases the relationship will still continue. We're not seeing the full extent of what is going on. So why does this happen? That's what we will soon dive into. Okay, so I will go in through, let's see, just a second, because I just wrote these reasons down for why we are not seeing what is going on. But okay, but I will just start to go through them. There is one that I thought about it, but I didn't write it down. So let's see if I can remember number 7 as we arrive at that. But the first reason for why we don't see betrayal, or why our mind protects us from seeing betrayal, is that this is a person that we love. It's a person that has sometimes been there from the beginning of our life, if it's a parent-child relationship, for example. But if it's a romantic partner, husband, it is someone who has taken on a role in our lives, an important role, a sacred role. And in that relationship, we give of ourselves. We make certain sacrifices. We take care of them. And we fulfill our role to them. And then we expect them to, or it sort of comes with a deal. And if you enter a marriage agreement, then it's like explicit that you will take care of and respect and cherish each other. And we expect them to hold to those promises that they made. This was a person who was supposed to cherish us and take care of us. And then we see some evidences of them having betrayed us, having used that role, our trust and their closeness to us, to inflict harm on us. That is very painful. So the first reason that we may not see what is going on, or if we see, we try to explain it away, is that our brain is protecting us from this enormous pain. It's like seeing betrayal, and really, being betrayed is loss, and it's a big grief. And if you are familiar with the 5 stages of grief, that was first written about by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was a psychiatrist. Those stages is something that you go through when, they were first discovered. That people go through these phases when they get a fatal diagnosis, when they know that, well, they might not live that long. Then they go through these 5 stages of grief. First, it is denial. No, it can't be true. I don't have cancer. And then it is bargaining. Well, I might have it, but it's probably not as serious. Or there will be some kind of cure. And then you go through anger. You get angry at the doctor, or angry at life, angry at God, and then sadness, and then acceptance. And you can go through those 5 stages, not only when it comes to these like fatal or serious diagnosis. You can go through them when you experience any loss. So someone close to you passes away, you lose your job, a pet dies or something. And of course, someone close to you betrays you. Then you will also go through those 5 stages. So our first reaction when we see some evidence of possible betrayal is denial. That's not, like, that cannot happen. He cannot do that to me. And then bargaining. Well, okay, so perhaps what I saw is true, but it can't be that bad, or it must be an explanation. Or like you try to bargain with reality, and then you might get angry at the situation, and which is a normal reaction, and sadness, and finally accept them. But a lot of these abusive relationship, I think, like before we start to realize what is going on, before we come to acceptance, there is a lot of these 5 stages of grief going on. So denial, bargaining, anger, sadness, and back and forth. It's a big and harsh truth to take in. Okay. So the first reason for why we do not see betrayal, or why our brain protects us from it, is that it is protecting us from pain. And like we can't. Hi, 3 dogs and a girl. Let's see. Hi, Emma. I definitely agree. I feel angry that he treats me so horribly wrong. Yeah. Anger for being treated, for being abused, and for having the partner mistreat you. It is normal. And I don't know if you recognize these the stages, like that it has taken you some time to get to that angry stage. It is difficult it is a difficult emotion, anger. But I found, well, when I was trying to suppress it during, when it would bubble up during the relationship, it was very, very difficult, a very difficult feeling to carry around. And pushing it down, it was also difficult. But once it was time for me to get out and stay away from him, then anger was helpful. But yeah, it's a difficult emotion, but normal. Let's see. Hi, K-Poppy. It's the first time you join a live, I think. Mine found my email and wrote me a sorry letter. It is very sad, and parts of you want to reach out, and you just cannot do it. Yeah. Yes, especially when they are seemingly remorseful, and it brings up those good memories, and they're trying to tap into love and compassion. Yeah, I understand that you like that feeling that you want to reach out. Something like usually I have received some sorry letters in my days, and not only from my ex-husband, but also from some abusive family members. What, like, usually, like when you read it the first time, you get this, it brings up a lot of emotions. But if you let it sit for a few days and then read it again, you can usually see some signs of them not really having changed when you read it through. Like, it will usually seep through, like, in what ways? Well, there might be some like accusations, like, you really hurt me when you did this, and then it is perhaps something that is not even true. Yeah, let's see. You're writing about some of it down here. Yeah, she said that when her daughter is let's see. She said when her daughter is upset with her, she asks for me, and that just kills me. Yes, and she probably knows that. So I know a bit about your situation from reading your comments over several months. So the woman who wrote you the letter probably knows that you really love this little girl, and that you would feel guilty. So the feeling that they usually want you to to have when you read the sorry letter, it is a feeling of like you will feel guilty, or you will feel very, very sorry for them. So they will usually put in some things, some hints, because they know you and know your buttons usually. Like they know which buttons they could press in the past and get you to feel compassion. Don Hennessy, one of the authors that I keep mentioning, who wrote the book How He Gets Into Her Head, and who worked with abusive men and abused women for a long time. He noticed that abusers are experts of getting you to feel compassion for them. So that is usually their, like that's usually how they draw you back in. When you're angry at them, they will try to turn the situation around so that you will feel compassion for them. And then you will forget about the betrayal and the anger. And I recently read another book about Dirty John Meehan and his first wife, and her name is Tanya Bales. She's the author of this book. And she writes about an episode in that book where she gets a call from a woman on the phone. And this woman is surprised when she answers the phone. And then she tells Tanya that, well, I was intimate with your husband last night. I didn't know that he was married. And when she confronts him, first he tells her that, no, that's not true. That's that didn't happen. And then when she tells him, like, this is what the lady said, then he storms off. And he returns some time later with a story. And he tells her that his friends got irritated at him for something that he said, and they decided to set him up so that this lady would call Tanya and tell her that he was cheating. So these friends didn't like John, and they wanted to set him up. And then he immediately started to cry, and then he shared with her that he had been abused when he was a boy by was it his brother? I'm not sure. By a male family member. And so he immediately got her to feel compassion for him, because it was not in her frame of mind that someone would either lie about being abused or that they would use that story to get compassion. And she was a bit confused, like, why is he talking about this now? But because he was so upset, she stopped thinking about the betrayal that she had just discovered, and she started to feel so sorry for him when he shared about the abuse that he had experienced. So abusers will try to tap into that compassion. They will get you to tap into compassion, and they're very good at that. Okay, so I'm just moving through 7 reasons for why our brain protects us from seeing betrayal. So the number 1 reason were that it is painful to see betrayal, and so therefore our brain will protect us. And I will continue talking about the other reasons, but if you have some comments or questions, you can just write it in the comment section. Let's see. Okay, so the second reason is that we usually believe what people around us are believing. It seems to be something like inherent to humans, that we don't like to have a completely different view of things compared with people around us. And they did this experiment when, like, they had to, perhaps you've heard about it, they had 2 lines. Let's see, I will draw 2 lines. Like that. And perhaps you can see that one is shorter than the other. And then they had a group of people, and well, the thing is that, like, only 1 or 2 of the people in the group was a real test person, and the others had received instructions from the scientists. So, like, the group was asked question, like, what line is the longer line? Okay, now but you can see that one is a bit longer. And then, like, the persons who were the real test persons, they would think that it was that line, right? Because it's, no, let's see, that's the longer line. But if everyone else in the group said that, no, it's that one, like it's B, that's the longest one, then they would also agree. It has to be B because everyone else is saying that it is B. So they did not trust their own perceptions when everyone around them seemed like certain 100%. And abusers are often very good at charming other people and making them believe that they're a good person. And like, if everyone else around us thinks that, well, he's just a normal husband, he seems to be a good guy, then we think that that's the truth. Even if we see evidence that may not be the case, we think that, well, he is a good guy, so that's what everyone around us thinks, and that's how everything appears to be. Like, we're just a normal family, and I mean, marriage is difficult sometimes, and so on. So we don't feel comfortable with questioning a reality when everyone else seems to think something. And number 3, it sort of ties into that. Many of us do not, or now this information is starting to become more common, but many of us did not know about abuse or narcissism, about how common it is and what it can look like. Like even when I was punched in the face by my ex-husband 14 years into the marriage, I thought that, well, no, he's not an abuser. He has never hit me before. So an abuser can, like if you're really an abuser, you can't be with someone for 14 years and not hit them. That was my beliefs about abuse. So it took me some time to see what was going on. A long time. But it's like out of our, or before we start to learn these things, that someone can live with the person and lie to their face and pretend to be someone and then be someone different. It's something foreign to us. It's something that is out of our our frame for what can be going on. So it is hard to question your beliefs when you don't have any. Like, how can you start to question what is going on if you don't have anything like another model to explain it? So that's why I think it is so good that this information about narcissism and about abuse is being spread. Some people that are working with abusers or abuse victims, they think that, well, it's not good that we are talking about narcissism because it confuses people and we're really talking about abuse in different forms. But I think it's obviously a term like narcissism. It doesn't have to be a diagnosis. It just means someone who's very, very self-focused, entitled, and have a like this blown up view of their own importance. So we're not going around diagnosing people, but we can observe a pattern and call it for narcissism instead of trying to explain, well, this person has they think too much of themselves and like they're very focused on their image and they are entitled. They think that they should be treated specially, like others should wait on them and so on. So it's easier to just explain it with a word. Okay, but so reason number 3, we don't know about abuse. We don't know about narcissism. So that's why we can't see it when it is happening to us, when we're being betrayed. And often when it is a pattern of betrayal, there is some abuse going on. The 4th reason is trauma brain. So after a while of living with someone who is abusive, controlling, who is creating chaos and hurting us emotionally or perhaps physically, someone who is unpredictable, we start to develop symptoms of complex trauma. So we get a bit jittery and are dealing with anxiety, sometimes trouble sleeping, nightmares. We start to have some things that might trigger us. And get us feeling very uncomfortable or anxious, sometimes for no reason. And also we can start to have these effects of trauma on our brain. So, and perhaps some of you ladies will recognize this, like when things feel overwhelming, the brain can just compartmentalize that. So let's not think about that, and you sort of forget it. It just moves away from the conscious mind and disappears. And this is it's a weird feeling when it happens. Like you can forget things that was very serious that happened, and it just disappears, or you forget it and do not think about it. So I will just show you, but these are one of the books that I read on the topic. Now, it was a year since I read this, so I don't remember everything in it. But the book is called Betrayal. And you see the authors down there. And it's all about this phenomenon, betrayal blindness. And they describe it in the book that something that they call the swoosh. And like when the brain just makes it disappear, you just forget about it. And one of the stories in this book, they write about a lady who comes into this restaurant or pub, and as she walks in, I can't remember why she went there. There was for some reason, and then she saw her husband kissing another woman. So she saw it clearly with her own eyes. And then when he saw her, he just let go of this other woman, the other lady, and he just greeted his wife. So, oh, hello, are you here? And then he introduced her to this woman, and somehow there were other people there, like in the story. If there were some work colleagues, I can't remember, but like those were not the only three. But then the lady describes that, and after that we had a great evening, and I just forgot about the kiss that she had seen, and it was just like the brain just swooshed it away, like it was too much to process, so it just disappeared, and it took some time before she remembered it. And so, and that's they don't talk a lot about trauma brain in that book, but it's something that I've noticed, like when you lived with a lot of trauma and a lot of stress for a long time, then your brain can work like that. And mine sort of, like even after being out, my brain still does that sometimes. Not with betrayal, but just when things feel a bit difficult to think about, it just disappears. So I'm big on notes, because otherwise I forget things. So like important things. Let's see. I will just read some of your comments. Havajava says, yeah, you mentioned dissociation. I was in a highly dissociated state for much of the time because I was in an unnatural high hypervigilant state. I swung between dissociation and hypervigilance. Okay, yeah. So it sounds like you were in a very stressful and perhaps threatening situation. And you were either very, very anxious, or you were just zoned out or dissociating and not really there. Yeah. And exactly when you're dissociating, like in both those states, like when you're very, very anxious, when you're very emotional, very scared or very anxious or very angry or and so on, the brain is not really processing things. It's like I once read this model, which was quite good. Like it was like it's something that you can show to children. Like this is the brain cortex, like the things that is processing things, and this is like the reptile brain. And when like those should be connected, so like the higher functions should be ruling over the reptile brain. But when you get very emotional, then they like do like that, and the reptile brain takes over. So that's just a model. The brain doesn't actually move, but in like the truth of it, that you can't really make clear decisions when you're emotional. That's true. But yeah, a good model to show the kids that when they are very emotional, they need to first calm down and then take decisions. But yeah, so when you're very emotional or very anxious, the brain is not storing information, and you're not able to process things properly. And when you're dissociating, when you're not really there, then the brain is not storing memories either. So yeah, and that's I think what you're describing is often connected to trauma. And K-Puppy, you're right. Yes, not sleeping good, and anxiety, depression. At least she mentioned she's not in this state. Oh, that's good. So she's not very close to you. Yeah. And the same thing here, K-Puppy. If you just got that email and it creates a lot of emotions and guilt and sadness, then that thing happens. So it's not a good time to make any decisions. First put it aside for a while, and some days I have this rule for myself. Like when I'm emotional, I never make a decision for 3 days. So usually after 3 days, I feel normal again, and I can make a decision and think about things a bit more clearly. Okay, and you're right. I had dissociation also, and now I think back to how she almost killed me several times with rages in my car. Oh, so you had forgotten about those episodes because you were dissociating when that happened because of anxiety or fear or shock. And then you say that she almost killed me with rage. So she was raging and you were driving, or she was driving. Yeah, either way, it's dangerous. Okay, 3 dogs and a girl, you say. I think I get angry because I am very hurt. Sometimes I release my anger with tears of frustration. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, he is hurting you. So both are true. He is hurting you, and what he's doing is wrong. And anger is that's a natural reaction to when someone is harming us and not treating us right. And it is very difficult also when we're feeling stuck and can't and it's good that you can cry. It's good to get. I think that it is good to release some of the emotions. It is difficult to deal with. I used to journal a lot. And I would write, like when I was angry, when I was sad, I would journal a lot. So during the relationship, many times, I wrote several times a day. So I have a lot of writing. I haven't gone through everything still after the relationship, but there's a lot of emotions. Let's see. Havajava, you write, yes, the constant irrational explosive rages are profoundly damaging. Yes. It's like you start to constantly be tense, waiting for the explosion or waiting for the other shoe to drop. When you notice that they are a bit irritated, you get very anxious because your body remembers what this can be a sign of, and it is damaging. Like being traumatized over and over is damaging. And of course, I believe that this trauma and the damage can with time be healed when we get to a safe environment. But that doesn't take away the fact that it is harmful, and it is a person that was supposed to take care of us who is doing this harm. Let's see. Hi, Lydiat. The covert abuse made me lose my memory. For 7 years, the gaslighting is pure toxins. You lost your memory for 7 years? Or you mean that your memory became poor? Either way, it's a sad thing to see the effects of their abuse in ourselves. So yeah, 2.5 years out, I'm still seeing every day I'm dealing with effects of the abuse in myself. So I still have some short-term memory difficulties, anxiety when someone is irritated, even if it has nothing to do with me, and lots of areas that has been affected. Oh, let's see. You lost it. You didn't even remember. I didn't even remember my friends. I'm sorry that happened to you. And you must have gone through a lot of pain and difficult situations to have have your brain react like that. Have you recovered? Do you have your memory back now? Or do you have your memory back from those years now? If you want to share. Let's see. And K-Puppy says, I was driving and it almost caused accident. Yeah, and I read Hannah Ark's do this, abusing cars. Yeah, yes. I've heard many share about like when you're in the car, you can't escape, and then they will abuse you or scream in your ear and so on. Usually, for me, he was driving, and he was driving like a maniac, so it put me in danger that way. But yeah, it's very difficult to drive when there is noise. Like you can't focus on the road, so it's no wonder. Like I'm happy that you did not get into an accident, but yeah, that is dangerous. Yeah, so you shared you shared a lot of these effects, and you can continue to comment if you want, and I will continue to go through the reasons why the brain protects us from seeing what is going on. So we talked about one, it is very painful and sometimes too painful to see or accept right away. And then the second reason, humans, we don't usually, or we don't want to question what people around us are thinking. We think that the crowd has, like, the majority has the correct answer. And if everyone around us believes that this person, the person who is actually abusing us, but everyone thinks that they're a good person, then we also believe that. And reason number 3, we don't know about abuse. We don't understand abuse. We don't know about narcissism. And the fourth that we talked about here a bit is the effects of trauma on the brain. Number 5, we don't like to admit that we have been tricked. Or it's like when we have a belief, when we have accepted a belief about something, we want to hold on to it. And I can't remember who said this, but it's like a famous quote that it is easier to deceive someone than to convince them that they have been deceived. Like it takes less, you need less evidence or less, it is easier to deceive someone than to explain to them that they have been deceived. Then you need more evidence, or it's a greater effort. And number 6, we think that what is going on is our fault. Even when they are abusing us or betraying us, we think that what we're seeing, like he's behaving nasty, he's screaming at me. Did I do something? He's texting with this lady from work. Am I not attractive anymore? We turn it back on ourselves. Sometimes this is something that we have learned from early, like that we got this line of thinking from childhood. But sometimes it is something that we learn in the relationship, that because the abuser is constantly making us responsible for things. In the beginning of the relationship, in a good way, like you make me feel so good. And then we become responsible for, like, I'm feeling bad, so can you stay at home with me tonight because you usually share me up. So you can become responsible for their feelings, for their actions, and they gaslight you. So you stop trusting yourself and refer to them more and more. So number 6, the sixth reason is that even when we're seeing signs of betrayal, we don't realize they are betraying us or tricking us or abusing us. We think that they might be reacting to something that we have done without knowing it. Okay, and then just as I was like logging in here, I thought about a seventh reason, but then I didn't write it down, and let's see if I will remember it. But I saw that there were some comments, so let's go through them first, and maybe I will remember that seventh reason. Let's see. K-pop, you say. I think the worst part is that you do see a small amount of kindness in them. And the more you are around them, the meaner they get. And you realize the monster is the part you just cannot deal with the monster. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that like the further away you are, the more kindness you see. And the more time you spend with them, the more nasty parts you see. Yeah. And it's a hard thing to accept. That you don't really, or even like when my ex-husband would say things, they would be really nasty, or he would say some opinion that was really horrible, and then I would tell him like, but you don't really think that, or that's not who you are. like I would argue with it. That's not like it was. I could not accept that was what he was really thinking, or I thought that, well, he's just saying that because he's angry. And yeah. And many of them will even feed into this. Well, you know how I get when I get angry. Like, I can't be responsible for what I do when I'm angry. I don't really mean it. Yeah, it's hard to see that that's who they are. And they also, like, no one, or many of them also have these like very sweet parts to them. But even if you have some nice sides, or if you can be really sweet, it doesn't excuse that if you are abusing the people around you who love you. Let's see. Lydia, you say, okay, because I asked you, has the memory returned? And now you say, yes, I remember how everything started and finished now. Oh, you remember how everything started and finished now. So you remember everything. How they harmed me while I was helping them. They are some dark people. Yes, they are. And K-Puppy, you say, I am 1.5 years out, I guess. Or, yeah. Or you're no contact. And still dealing with a lot of issues and getting better day by day. Yeah, that is normal. They're like, but you're getting better day by day. That's good. Nothing is ever good enough. I even told her that one time. I feel like they can never be normal, and we may not even understand this kind of person. We may not ever understand this kind of person. Yes. Yeah, we may never understand exactly how they think, even though we can learn about it. It's hard to understand fully if you do not think like that. Yeah. So it seems like most of you have gotten at least to the stage like you have started to see what is going on and to see that betrayal, but I'm guessing that it took some time, and some emotions coming up. All those, as I talked about in the beginning, that we go through these stages of grief, when we start to see, or when we start to realize what they are like, and it's like we lose that, because we want to think that they are this sweet person and kind and loving, that version that we see less and less as the relationship goes on, but we think that that's the real them. And then eventually, because there is more, as they drop the mask, or as they put it on less and less, because that sweet version is the mask, their act, we start to see more and more of the real them and more evidence of betrayal and lies. And eventually it's like that. It's like the balance shift, like, no, that's not the real them. The real them is this cruel person, the one who yells at me in the car and who lies and cheats on me and who hurts me. That's the real them. And the other, like the person that I loved and the person that I thought I was in a relationship with, that is just an act. That's a very harsh thing to see. And it's a process of realizing that is a shock, and then it's this process of grief, of letting go of that person that we loved, because they did not exist. Yeah, and it is not easy. So I think that, yeah, just like you say, K-Puppy, that, yeah, we give them another chance and then abuse you again, and then you get angry at yourself for going back and trying to fix them. Yeah, so we blame ourselves, like, why didn't I not see it, or why did I go back again? I knew how, like, but it is a hard lesson to learn. And there is this statistic that it usually takes 7 times for a woman before she's able to leave the abuser for good. So 7 times of trying to leave, or leaving for a bit but then going back, or trying to end the relationship. And because it is not obvious what is going on, and because they are very good at this deception, and because the relationship moves in the abusive cycle, and because they usually turn back to this charming and sweet guy or lady when we want to leave, and then we hope that, well, now they're back. Now they're really wanting to invest in the relationship for real, and we want them to get it. we want them to get it and try a bit harder, or like stop harming us. And we don't think that that's too much to ask. It's not. So we think that, well, they should, like, why are they doing this? Don't they understand? Or it takes a while for us to see this harsh reality. Let's see. And 3 dogs and a girl, you're right. Seeing the betrayal and having the resources to leave are convergent. I don't know what that word means, but yeah, I wish I could leave. He does not have the capacity to love. Yeah, it's it has nothing to do with you. It's him. Like, he is the abuser. He's the one who cannot love you. And it is painful to see that and not be able to leave. I also wish that you could leave. Yeah. Let's see. I mean that the betrayal, seeing the betrayal and the willingness to leave have happened at the same time for me. Okay, yes, okay. So you mean that when you see the betrayal and understand it, then you want to leave? Yes. Yes, exactly. I think that was a good observation. Like, when you finally can see the betrayal for what it is, then there is nothing left to stay for. Like, the illusion is gone. Let's see. Oh, hi, Libby. You made it. Let's see. I finally got out of the brain fog and I see it for what it is. And after this, you just cannot go back again because you know the cycle. Okay. That's good. You see what is going on and you just can't go back because you know what will happen. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that you can see it for what it is, because it will save you some pain. Yeah, so that's good. And you don't want to go back, even though all those difficult emotions that come up when you got that email. Let's see. Yes, we're talking about the illusion, Libby. We're talking about how we, like, yeah, in the beginning, the illusion is looks really good. And as the relationship goes on, we start to see some more glimpses of things not being what they appear to be. We might start to see some signs of betrayal, of lies, of cheating, and so on. And then, even as we see them, our brain protects us from, and sometimes the brain can even make us forget what we saw, the betrayals. We forget about it, or explain it away, or so on. And it's called betrayal blindness. And and I went through some of the reasons for why the brain does this. Yeah, but just as you said, Three Dogs and a Girl, that when you see the betrayal for what it is, then when you really see it, that makes you want to leave. And that's what happened for me, like the final the final drop, when I could really, and it came in like I could see some parts of the betrayal, but I could not. I thought that, well, he's selfish, he's narcissistic, he he can't think about others. But what I saw in the end was that no, he is hurting me on purpose. And then, and then I had to leave, and I used my anger to get some energy to do that. Let's see. Havajava, you share that in my case, his pathology showed very early on, but I had no frame for what I was seeing. I thought it was autism, but it was psychopathology. Okay, so something wrong with his psyche, you mean, with the mind? Yeah, I think it's common. It's a common thing to confuse autism and narcissism or abusiveness. I was thinking that at one time I have to make a video about this, because it seemed to be common, and I've also heard abusers use this as an excuse. Like they will say that, well, I'm probably have some ADHD or something, like claiming that they can't do any better or that they don't understand. But there's a big difference between not being able to read emotions, like as in autism, and using emotions and being able to, like an abuser, it is usually some variation. Sometimes they can be really nice and kind and attentive, and sometimes they can be very callous and selfish. So they know what they should, like they know what they're supposed to do, and they can know how others are feeling, and they can use that, an abuser that is. While someone with autism, they're not good at reading emotions, and they're like usually, like I come across people with different kinds of diagnoses in my work, and autism or autism spectrum being one of them. It's a big difference meeting a patient with autism and meeting someone who is manipulative, like in a healthcare setting. But probably in the future I will do a video about it. Let's see. What are you writing, Libby? You say, oh yeah, he's going to fix her toilet at 1 a.m. There's a mystery bra in his laundry. He says it belonged to a family from our swim party a month before, but the only people who swam were... Yeah, I'm sorry that I laughed, Libby. It was just so it was so good examples of evidence of betrayal, and he like explaining it away with like some dumb excuses. But the thing is that they usually say it with a straight face, and it comes very natural for them. Like they lie a lot, and they're good at it. So because it comes so fast and natural, it's like easy to fall for it. And I did that as well. Yeah, let's see. Okay, let's see. Right, bringing him supper at work to surprise him with the kids, and hearing my then 7-year-old exclaim, "Dad is so busted," from the back seat. Oh no, yeah. You shared that once before, like when you saw him with this woman walking and holding hands or something. Yeah, it must have really hurt. And I also experienced cheating, and it really, really hurt. It was very painful. Let's see, and Libby says, I do have ADHD, and it can be managed, and it doesn't come without accountability. But I can see how neurotypical could confuse the two. I mess up, but I don't hurt people on purpose. And like with scheduling and and paperwork, not with like interpersonal relationships. Yeah. Okay, so you have ADHD, and you might have some problems with concentration or keeping focus, or you might be hyperactive, and it can mess up schedules and paperwork and so on, but you don't go around abusing people and swearing at them or lying to them and cheating on them. Yeah, thank you for the examples. Let's see, Moon Love Freedom. Hi, welcome. Hi everyone, I have started reading about this disorder 2016. I knew, still allowing the abuse. I am afraid the only way is radical acceptance and spending 100% of the time based on us kids. I know, hard. I don't know what you mean with this, with the last bit, like spending 100% of time. But yeah, so I also knew about narcissism like for many years before I left. So I started to learn about it in 2017. And when I started to read about it, I realized that, oh, this is probably my husband. And I still allowed the abuse as well. So, but I didn't understand. So, yes, I started to learn about the disorder, but I thought that, well, yes, he has this disorder, so he probably can't do any better. It was like, this is something that he has been, like he has had this since he was probably quite young, and he can't do any better. But it has to be a way to deal with it. And if it is caused by trauma and pain and shame, then I can heal him by, like I have to find a way to make it, like we have kids now, so I can't just like opt out of the relationship. I have to try to make it work. So I don't think that you're the only one, Moon Love Freedom. And please don't blame yourself for that. Yeah, and as you say, the only way is radical acceptance. Yeah, and it takes time to get there. Like even when you start to read or learn about the disorder and learn about abuse, it takes time to get to this. Yeah, that was what was going on. I was abused. He was doing that. He cheated on me. He lied. It's like a whole long process of to come to that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's good, Libby. You were not offended that I laughed at your comment. Yeah, the excuses are so lame. And they seem so defensive about it, and we want to believe them. Yeah, like you want to believe that. You don't want to believe that your partner is lying, like looking you in the eyes, and it may be like stupid lies. Yeah. It like when we know afterwards, when we've come to a certain place, it can feel funny to look back, and I laugh at myself as well sometimes. Yeah, but yeah, we believe them until we until we have seen it enough times, and it can take years. Often take years to see what is going on. And K-Puppy, you shared that she even did fake crying and financial abuse too. And you can see they are lazy and not even trying to get better, and asking them to seek help, and they gaslight you and say that it's all your fault. Yeah. Yeah, they don't try to get better. They don't want to grow or do better or stand on their own feet. They want to get forward in life by abusing others, so using others or tricking others. And it is very sad. Let's see, and Moon Love Freedom, you write, we have this loop in our head trying to get sorting. That is sorted. Rumination is so addictive. We will only waste our time for invest in us, kids' future. Yeah. Yes, I recognize the rumination and trying to make sense of things. And it is like, or many times when I would, like my thoughts would go around in circles, and I would feel trapped because there was no good solution. There was no way out of this, what felt like a trap. Like, how am I going to solve this? Like, he says that he can't get a job, and I feel burned out, and I have still, I have to work full time if we're going to make the finances. And like, there are so many factors. And like, there's like I can't let go of any of these things. And trying to fix it and trying to understand it, and yeah, the loops and the rumination. It takes a lot of energy and time. Yes. Yeah, and Libby says that kids might be all the more reason to protect ourselves and the children. Yes, once we see what is going on, when we understand that that we need to protect our kids from this person, or that it may not, that it's not in their best interest that we try to fix this marriage, or then it becomes a big, like the kids, and protecting the kids is, it was like, for me at least, like I stayed for a long time because I wanted, I thought that it is better for the kids if, like, to have a stable home. And I felt like, well, I'm a single mother anyway. Like, even if we're married, I'm still like a functioning single mother. So it doesn't really matter if we separate or not, but it might be better for the kids to have their father here. I'm suffering, but it is better for them. But once I saw that, like that switch, like once I saw the depth of the betrayal and the abuse, then that changed. So it became, no, I have to get out to protect the kids. And Moon Love Freedom, you say, please don't waste 10 years. He or she will only be worse. Yes, they get worse with time. And Lippy, you agree with this? Yeah, they don't want to stand on their own feet. Instead, get by on exploiting others. Yes, that's what I have seen, and I think many have commented on that they're like parasitic, or they take advantage of others. Three dogs and a girl, you share. Yes, one stupid lie that he recently told me was that he was at work. He left at 8:30 a.m. and got home at near 6 p.m. And he came home with a 5-hour paycheck. And he said he was at the barn. Yeah, I know what barn. Yeah. And Libby share, I can't make sense of the relationship anymore. The rumination made me crazy. I began focusing on me, garnering support, figuring out how to be okay whether he is with me or not. Yeah, that's really good. The relationship is confusing, and there are many things that we will never get. Like, there are many things about the relationship that we will never fully know. We will never know all the details. We will never know exactly what they did when we did not, like when we were not together with them. We will never know all the lies or all the motives, or we will never understand everything. And it comes a point when we have to let it go. Like, we have enough, we have to decide that I have enough, like, I have enough evidence, or I know what I know, and like try to, but stopping that rumination, it is like when we're still in contact with them, and I know you're still in the relationship, that's very hard. I couldn't stop ruminating. Like, after I was no contact for a year, that's when it sort of stopped, but it took a long time. But you're focusing on yourself, garnering support, and making sure that you are okay, that's really good. That's a good shift. So you're strengthening yourself, and you're detaching a bit, if I read you correctly. You're no longer like, even if he, like, no matter what he's doing or what mood he is in, you don't let it affect you that much, or decide how the entire, like, how your entire day will go. That's good. And that shift, like, usually that happens in the relationship. That's also a bit painful, to stop trying to like, because it also involves a grief there. Like, when we stop trying to reach the partner and stop trying to hope that they will change, so we let go of that hope that things will be different, and start to accept what is the reality, and start to detach a bit. So yeah, that's good. It's a good step. Let's see, K-Puppy, you say, I have read a lot of books, and in the end she is a total dark triad. And when I witness her using older men and never getting a regular job, and using her own child as a pawn, I had to wake up. Yeah, she was doing a lot of destructive and manipulative things. And it's a good thing that you saw it. And I did start to read that book that you recommended, Dangerous Personalities, by that FBI profiler. And it seems good. I just, like, in the beginning of that book. Let's see, Libby says, yeah, stabilizing myself is where my energy is now. Learning to redirect my focus to more productive activity than conflict. Yeah, you are stabilizing yourself. You're no longer getting caught up in this drama, like the drama that is all around them, and the conflicts, and making sure that you are balanced. Sometimes, like, when we do that, sometimes there will be like a period when they try to bait us or escalate things. Like, when they notice that you are no longer engaging or reacting like you used to, sometimes they will increase that. They might say things to provoke you, or try to push some of your buttons, or accuse you of something, accuse you of not caring, or sometimes that happens. So it's just good to know and be prepared, but what you're doing is the right thing. So and even if they manage to get us to react to something, then we learn to next time to, like, oh, he got me, he succeeded in baiting me, but next time I will walk away from the conflict, or like do something differently. And you are preserving your energy for yourself and for things that are productive. Let's see. And Libby, you say, yes, I'm on the fence about it being better for them to have us both. And it is easier for me sometimes too, to be honest. I mean, it is not all that bad for us. Yeah. you're not sure what you think, like if it is better for the kids to have both of you living together and or not, and you say that it is easier for you to be like to be married to him, and it's not all that bad. Yeah, that's a decision that you like. That's also a process, and it's a decision that you have to make. And I think that like what you're doing now, and you're focusing on not reacting and preserving your energy for productive things and strengthening yourself, that's good. I think that the right decision for you, it will become clearer as you continue to move forward. Let's see. Moon Love Freedom, you say that. Yeah. So if I read it correctly, like their behavior will never make sense because they are sick and brain damaged or working differently. Yeah. Something is wrong with how they are behaving. And it will never make sense. Yeah. Yes, and it has like their behavior, what they're doing has nothing to do with you or the non-abusive partner. It's something within them. And keep up, you share that I told my husband we can write 4 books on all the stuff that she did that we are aware of. And when about 8 friends totally dropped her, I can only imagine how much more she has done to people. Yes. It's very sad to see how much damage one person can cause to a lot of people. Like one of these people who are highly manipulative and abusive and using others, they can cause a lot of damage to a lot of people. And it's like so being in a relationship or in a friendship or in a family with one of these abusive and manipulative people, it feels like being in a soap opera, one of those like 90s soap opera that just goes on forever, and there are evil twins and like schemes and things going on, but it's it happens in real life. It's really weird. Okay. I'm happy that you feel that, Libby, that you feel that this community is supportive. And thank you. You're also part of it. Let's see. You write, I can't manage this relationship, but I owe it to myself to manage my choices, behavior, perceptions, feelings, and locations. Yes. So you can't do anything to change or to better the relationship, the marriage. But you can change your choices, your behavior. Yeah, exactly. So you have tried to make the relationship better, and you discovered that you couldn't because he is the one who is behaving badly, and you can't make another person change. But you can, so you're focusing on the things that you can control. And that's good. I can't change them or understand them fully, but I owe my kids to focus on them, to build a future for us either way. Yeah, you owe your kids to focus on the kids and build a future for you. Yes. Yeah, that's good. I think that it's very valuable for a child to have a parent who does pay attention to them and listen to them, and who want to build and to strengthen them. So that's a really important job. And no matter what, no matter what you decide in the future, you don't have to make all the decisions at once. You just keep focusing on the kids and yourself and the things that you can control. Yeah. Yeah, knowing it and doing it are different. Understanding the concept and practicing it. Sometimes I think maybe if I just make more money, then things will be nice again. Yeah, I know. It's like you can understand something with your brain, and then your body doesn't get it, or like part of and then it's like this. It felt for me, it felt like I had this program almost that could be activated, like. And I guess it was like being in a cult, when you have a certain belief system about how things worked. And in that belief system, he was doing his best, and he really loved me, and if I only could have some patience and so on. And then I had to realize that wasn't true. But I still had that, when I was around him, I would still have problems not tuning into that view of things. So, yeah, it's a whole different thing to do it. And you can understand something and not really understand it on all levels. And K-Puppy, you're right. The emotional toll they take on the brain is horrible, and you have to dig deep and get your own self back and set strong boundaries. Yeah. Yes. They have a big effect on us, and it takes a lot of strength and energy to break out of that and tune back into yourself and to put up those boundaries. If it is no contact, or if it is not engaging, if we are working on gray rocking or yellow rocking, so not reacting to them, it takes a lot of energy to hold those boundaries, and they usually will try to push on those boundaries. So as I said, if they see that we are not reacting, they will try to bait us into reacting. And when she sent you that letter and wrote about the daughter and how she misses you, that is one way to try to break down that boundary. It's not an easy process. It's hard work. Let's see. Moon Love Freedom. You say, that is similar what I have experienced. It's better later than never. Don't get sucked in back. I did it several times. Yes, me too. I try to leave sometimes, or a few times before I did. Okay, let's see. And yeah, and they cause damage to us. And we're adults. And what about children? Yes. Yeah, so one of the, as I said, one of the big reasons for why I had to leave was that I saw that it was affecting our children. Like it was dangerous for them to stay, but it was also damaging. So it is, yes, it's much harder for a child to not be affected by an abusive parent. And let's see. Oh, you became a member, Moon Love Freedom. Welcome to the group, and thank you for the support. Let's see. Libby says, yes, I tried for a number of years. It would get a little better or less bad for a while, and when I changed my focus, it sort of let some pressure out. Okay, so you tried in different ways to make it better. But it never lasted. And I don't really know what you mean, like when you change your focus. But yeah, but I know that you have, like, as many of us, you have tried for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, and many of the women who end up in these long-term relationships, they are clever, high achievers, conscientious, and usually, like, they will stick to their promises, or they will, like, when things do not work, they will try harder. So when things are not working, many of us will try in different ways to make it better, and to find a method, or try to understand them, and work harder, and try harder. Yeah, and good-hearted, as you say, Moon Love Freedom. Yeah, and the abusers are looking for those kind of people, because a person who will try harder and who will look at themselves on something like, how can I fix it? That's like the perfect, unfortunately, that's a good target. Yeah. And as you say, Moon Love Freedom, you see glass more full and solution seeker. Yes, so and resilient, and that usually makes the relationship last long. Before it takes a long time before we reach our limit, and then even though we start to be affected negatively, mentally and brain fog and some mental fatigue and trauma, effects of trauma on the brain, we still try to find a solution. Hi, Max Smith. It's the first time that you're here. Yeah, so right now I'm just going through the comments from the viewers, and we're discussing it. So that's what is going on. Okay. Okay, so I'm backing up a bit here. See, because Havajava, you say that I was not prepared for how sick my body became after I left. Okay, and you have not been out for that long, 3 months, right? Yes, and many discover, like when you get out and when you get to safety, that is when this crash happens. And we're completely drained of energy and sleeping a lot and really feeling sick. Perhaps that is what you mean. I don't know if you have been ill in some other way, but that crash is very common. And it is because it has been for so long that the body, like we're running without any reserves left and just running on adrenaline and in this survival mode. And then when we finally get out, and when the levels of adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones that have been driving our system, when they drop, then that is when the body crashes and starts to rest, but it doesn't feel like progress. It's usually it's a necessary step to go through that phase of resting a lot, but it feels like backlash. It's a sign that you are feeling safe usually, and it will pass, but it is frustrating. And because it often comes when we are, like now, we want to focus on getting on our feet and getting things in order, and now we have no energy and just want to rest and sleep. Yeah, but that is I'm guessing what is going on with you. Let's see. Max Smith, you ask, are narcs demon possessed? And yeah, okay. So you mean that the debate is mixed over this? I think that there is definitely some dark entities in play. So I've had some experiences that makes me convinced of this, and I know that I've spoken to several others who have as well. And I don't know how, if they're just influenced or if there is something more going on. But I think definitely that these people are making evil choices, and they're making them on their own. So they're choosing over and over again to do selfish things and to take advantage of others. So I think that they are responsible for what they're doing, even if they are cooperating with the enemy side. Let's see. Moonlight Freedom, you say I get so bad. I need shine on teeth as I squeeze my jaw so hard. Okay, so you damaged your teeth somehow because you're pressing your jaw at night, I guess. And of course, joints, digestive system, memory loss, and self-worth was 0. Yeah, that's a lot for one person to deal with. And yeah, people get affected a lot by abuse. Like, even if it is not physical abuse, it does have enormous effects on us to live for years and in this. And I know that you're out, and I know that you're strong, and it will get better. Let's see. Hava Java. Oh, yes, that's it. Okay, so you recognize when I describe that crash after you leave. And you also have severe vestibular migraines. Okay. Yeah. And they're, okay, so you're dealing with migraines as well. Yeah, that's difficult. I know I also have migraines. I don't know if you have some medication to take for your migraines when they come up. I mean, sometimes migraines, it's, in most cases, you're able to, like, together with a doctor, come to some sort of treatment that works for migraines. Sometimes you're not able to get rid of them completely. But as you start to recover and as your body is able to rest, it should come less and less frequent. Let's see. Ileana Reed. Hi, welcome. My divorce that lasted for 7 years, with him coming back at one point, just got finalized. Oh, that's so good. Congratulations. Towards the end, it was so bad, I thought I would never survive. Now I feel so bad. Panic attacks, OCD returned. Okay, so the divorce just got finalized. So that's like a really good step for you. But it has been really, really tough, to the point where you thought that you would perhaps not make it. And now, after it is finalized, I'm guessing, now you feel bad, panic attacks, so severe anxiety, and OCD returned. And OCD is usually also, like, it gets worse when you're anxious. It's a way to deal with anxiety when you have everything in order, or do certain like things in order. Okay. it's not unusual. It's not unusual for this to happen. Like, even though it should be a win, like it's something to celebrate, but your system is feeling anxious. It is feeling like this is a new situation, and just like, so this is just me interpreting, and I don't know about your situation, but take what you think apply. But sometimes, like, you were focused on getting through with the divorce. Now you reach that goal, and now you don't, like, it's a situation where you perhaps have not, you don't really know what to go next. And that can bring up some anxiety. When I read this, I also wonder, like, is the situation where you're feeling afraid of him? Is he stalking you? Like, is that why you're feeling anxious? Okay. That's something just to think about, to make sure that you're safe. And if you are safe, like when in that situation, when anxiety like comes up, the first step is usually to make sure that you're sleeping okay. So try to, like, there are some advices for how to make sure that you're sleeping okay at night. Sometimes that's not enough, but that's just a start. And hopefully it will, like, those symptoms will lower. But sometimes you might need to like, if if it is severe and you're not able to handle it yourself, you might want to talk to your doctor or someone, because, like, sometimes during certain periods you might need help with sleeping or something to lower the anxiety. So those are my thoughts, but you take what you feel, apply. And another thing, try to stay away from alcohol if you're dealing with anxiety, because alcohol, it's tricky, because many people actually start to get addicted to alcohol because they're having anxiety. So I have been in contact with some ladies who, like, as they are for years dealing with these abusive men, they start to turn to alcohol or some other, like, prescribed medications that are like opioids or benzodiazepines that are addictive. They will lower anxiety temporarily, but then when they go out of the system, they increases anxiety. So it's like a negative cycle. So if it is a rough period, anxiety-wise, my advice would be to be careful with any alcohol. Let's see. And Havajava, you also think that narcissists embrace evil. Yeah. Okay, and Moonlight Freedom. Yes, your divorce has been going on since 2020. And I spent you spent a lot of money, 10 2,000 something, whichever currency. Yeah, and you got nothing done about financial, just dry divorce. Yeah, and you live in Germany and he is in the UK. Yeah. Yes, divorces and separating the assets can be very complicated. Yeah, especially when you are in different countries, and especially when the ex spouse is not cooperating, and when they are in fact sabotaging. It is very hard. So it's not unusual. They try to drag out the divorce and the separation and as long as possible, and they usually try to get as much of the assets as possible. Yeah, and you still have accounts together 3 years after your divorce. Yeah. Let's see. Ileana Reed, you say, how do you start recovering after the divorce is finally over? I feel like my nerves are shut. Even little things causes stress. Yeah. So I have a free video course talking about just the rebuilding parts, like rebuilding your life after narcissistic abuse. That's like a free playlist. There will be more episodes coming on that playlist, but so far there is 6 episodes explaining a bit like the different phases after the separation or the divorce and how you start to rebuild your life. And then but how do you start to recovering? And the big problem now is that your nerves are shut and even little things causes stress. I'm wondering, are you also having like nightmares? Are you having these like dreams about what happened between you, or flashbacks? Well, what I'm asking about is really like perhaps, or should I say it like this? It might not be just normal anxiety and OCD. It might be some CPTSD going on. So when you live in a very stressful and or dangerous, but stressful environment for a long time, and there is a lot of like it's an unsafe environment. Many survivors of abuse, when we come out, have some symptoms of CPTSD, so complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And and there are some symptoms like besides the anxiety and like very small thing causes extreme stress. There is also usually some sleep disturbances. Like if it is CPTSD, there is usually also some problems sleeping and some nightmares and so on. But either way, the first step is to be in a safe environment. So not be in connection or close connection with someone who is trying to manipulate or abuse you, And that usually also means other people who have similar patterns. So sometimes you have divorced the partner who was abusive or narcissistic or how but usually once we get that person removed, we start to, in many cases, discover that there is at least someone around us that is similar but not as bad, and that can trigger us as well. So be in a safe environment, and make sure that the relationships around you are also safe, so that you're not feeling attacked or abused or manipulated, and having so that you don't have to resist all of that. If it is possible, be no or low contact with this ex-partner. And there are ways, even if you have kids, there are ways to decrease the contact, or to have the contact in writing, so that they don't have access to you all the time, and so that you have some time to think when they contact you, and so that you're not constantly getting stressed or triggered by them. And it will get better. I mean, it takes time. So I was with my ex-husband. I was in that relationship for 21 years, because we met when I was 15. And we separated 2.5 years ago. And then he stalked us, so he stalked me, and there were some episodes in the last period of the marriage where he physically abused me and did some very dangerous things. And then, as I said, he stalked me. Eventually, I had to report him to the police and get a restraining order after. So this was half a year after the separation. Things were so bad that I couldn't handle it myself. I'd been, at this point, I had been forced to take sick leave from my work because I was not functioning. I had gained a lot of weight. And so I used to be 70 kilos or 140 pounds, but I gained a lot of weight during the last months of our relationship, and when he stalked us, because of the stress. And then I had to move. So we moved 4 times because he stalked us, even when I had this protected identity. And so after the 3rd move, then I was dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of CPTSD. And I could not sleep. I would have nightmares. And when I stood in my kitchen, I would see a person outside of the window, on the street. And I would get this jolt in the body, and my heart would start to beat, and I would get instant stress. And then I would see, well, it's just a man walking his dog. That's not my ex-husband. But my body was already reacting. So even though my brain knew that it's okay, but this is the system was already panicking. And that went on for several months, at that level. And then it slowly started to dim. And it got better, actually, after he found us and we moved again. It got better when we moved to this apartment that we are in now, because now I had a room with a door. So I could go in there and close the door when I got too stressed. and calm myself down, because it's hard to deal with anxiety when you are living with your kids. So it helps to have a door and to go there, like for a little bit when I felt overwhelmed, and then I could go out. So that, like, having a place where I could go and lay down and feel safe and close the door, it really helped. I don't know if you're able to do that, Ileana. Let's see. Yeah, and K-pop, you shared that. Yeah, you were much more anxious a year ago. Like all things, time will heal you and you will get better. Yes. Yes, usually that is the case. And as Max suggested, sometimes counseling can also help. But my suggestion is that if you want to, if you have the means to get counseling, try to find a therapist that understands trauma, and then see them or talk to them for you don't have to decide right away. You can try talking to the therapist and give it some days to feel how it felt, if it feels good, if they seem to get you, and if it feels like a fit. Because just because someone has a degree doesn't mean that they understand it. You can read about something in a book, but not really understand it. And in these cases, I think that having some sort of experience, either personally or having seen it yourself, or just being very interested in learning about people, the therapists have to, it's too complex to just read about it. If you want to understand it fully, you have to be very interested about these dynamics, I think. Yeah, and Havajava, yes, we're dealing with a lot of similarities. We are. Let's see. And Libby says, yeah, you mentioned these 10-minute lie down breaks. Yes, that's actually something that is very helpful, and very hard. So if you're dealing, a lot of us are dealing with brain fog or mental fatigue, or anxiety, it can also help, but when you're dealing with anxiety, it can be very hard to lie down if it is anxiety. But when you're trying to recover, like when you're going through this crash stage, as Havajava is doing, then I've spoken about this. I have some videos about mental fatigue and exhaustion. And so this is something that I learned when I was working at the rehab center. But if you're able to lay down and close your eyes and just breathe for 10 minutes, that helps the brain to deal with the impressions that have come in. And it helps to not have this mental fatigue or exhaustion build up during the day. So like 2 or 3 times a day to lay down and rest, like even if you're not sleeping, just a short break, it helps to relieve the symptoms of exhaustion and mental fatigue. So that's just a tip. And as I said, I do have videos explaining why this helps. And in that course, my free course, as a video course on YouTube, there is a video talking about mental fatigue because it's so common among survivors. Why mental fatigue happens, and I'm discussing these short breaks in there. Let's see. And Max Smith, you shared that, yeah, you were studying narcissism for 2 years because you never knew such a disorder ever existed. Yeah. It's a wake up, or most of us never knew that it existed before we started, or before we came across it. And yeah. Okay. And K-Poppy, you share, I believe it could be demons. My 5-year-old grandkid told me that she did witchcraft, so yes, it can be demons. You mean that her mother did witchcraft? If I understand you correctly. So, yeah. And Max Smith, yeah, some experts say that it's 4% of the population, and others suggest much higher numbers. Yes. And I think it varies as well, and it is increasing. So it's not static, and it's depending on how you measure it. If we're only talking about like high traits of narcissism, or if they're trying to, like if someone would check enough boxes to get a diagnosis. And then there is also the question if they will answer truthfully. Like if you're doing an investigation and like how are you doing that? If you're just asking the person, like, do you feel that you're better than everyone else? And they check yes. Or perhaps they will be like fake humble. So it's hard to investigate and do science when it comes to human behavior. And yeah. Yes, and Libby, you get scared when we talk about the that it might be something darker involved. And as Max says, like probably not with everyone, but when it turns, like I think that, so I think it's a sliding slope, like it's depending on how dark the person or how evil they themselves gets. And not every narcissist will have some, like, it does not have to be some dark entities attached to them. But like in my case, when my ex-husband wanted to harm our kids, and so we're having very dark thoughts. And doing some weird things. And I also saw some like supernatural dark things going on around him. So, but I don't think that it's everyone. Yeah, and you give some tips there, Libby. You're saying that vagus nerve support is helpful. Okay, and the vagus nerve is connected to the parasympathetic nervous system, so it calms the stress system. Yeah, that can be worth looking into. And keep up. You say that cardio is helping you a lot. That's good. Yeah, and Havayava, you have to leave. Yeah, it's see you next live. Happy to have you here. Okay, let's see. We have been talking for a while. Does anyone else have something that you want to talk about? I forgot to drink my tea. Okay. Summer is here. I'm guessing that all of you are having some warm weather. I think that's like the spring, the summer, when it is getting lighter. It's a nice season. And I have been doing some of the videos outside. Perhaps you've seen that, like out in nature. Okay. It has been a really interesting discussion, I think. And yeah, and you were all very open and sharing about your situations and supporting each other. That's beautiful. That's why I like these lives. And yeah, so we will do, or I will do a live again next Thursday, the same time, and you're welcome to join. And we will see what the topic will be. Lately, I've been trying to do this community post where you can vote for a topic before the... Oh, I got the super sticker from... Thank you, Moonla Freedom. It's the first time I got one. Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah, so keep an eye open on if you want to vote for the topic. I usually, like a couple of days before Thursday, I will post the different options and you can vote, and the topic that wins will be the topic for the live. Okay, so I think we will call it a night here. It's getting late in Germany as well, Moonla Freedom, and we have to get to bed here in Europe. Okay, so take care of yourselves, everyone, and we will see each other in another live or in the comment section, I hope. Okay, bye.